feels like the FIRE movement has grown most of its life during what has by and large been a huge bull market in the stock market. And I think the three of us understand the nuance and the historical frequency of bear markets and the predictability, not when they're going to occur, but that they are going to occur at some point in the future. They're a normal part of market cycles. But I think a lot of people don't fully appreciate that nuance. So I'm curious, you said that you went through 2008 when you were independent.
Yeah,
What was
3
that
years
like?
into retirement.
And what do you think it would be like if we had another 2008, another 3-year period where the market just lost itself? What would that do for people who have taken the plunge towards financial independence in the last decade?
Yeah, well, it might take a little counseling. I mean, I'll still be there for them, writing blog articles as always. And to be honest, it'd be interesting because I haven't had any real stock market crashes or economic conditions to write about since long ago. I mean, when I first started the blog in my blog in 2011, for a while, the stock market was kind of slow at that time, and it
Yeah.
still hadn't even exceeded the levels of like the 2000 bubble, I think, at that point, or maybe just barely. And my sister wrote a comment saying like, how can you be retired and depending on stock returns when there really aren't any? And I wrote this blog article called, Dude, where's my 7% investment return? And I kind of explained how the part of the cycle we were in this is normal. Like you have a huge drop, you have some doldrums, and then at some point you get a crazy spike that makes up for everything else. And then it'll like volatile average it all out again. But just make sure you're invested for that spike. So now we've had that, and we've had our savings bumped up by a big multiple. So even when it drops back down, you can pretty much just average through that whole time period and it will look like good stock market returns. So I think the real thing, as you often write about too, is just make sure you zoom out on your graph, just roll the mouse wheel back and look at the long-term perspective, and then these crashes aren't such a big deal because it doesn't really affect you. Like you have a whole bunch of money in retirement accounts, and then the next day you log in and that number is smaller. Well, you're still only spending $100 a week on groceries, and you're, being reasonable with your lifestyle. And so it's not like you were planning to withdraw that whole $1 million, which is now only $500,000 or whatever overnight. So it really makes no difference. You have to understand how little of an effect that causes if you're just making tiny withdrawals.